In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve multi-step equations where you see a group. In your problems, what you're going to see is a group of parentheses. Now, I consider two methods to solve this problem, and I'm going to talk about those two methods here. You can pick which method works for you, but I will teach you both. First, when you write an expression, when an expression is equal to a constant, you're going to see something like this, where you have an equal sign and you have a number term all alone on one side of the equal sign. So notice how we have a fraction times a group of parentheses equals a number. So here are my two methods. The first method of solving when you have a fraction times a group would be to get rid of the fraction right away. And how you would do that would be to multiply each side of your equation by the reciprocal. So this would be your fraction upside down. We can do this because you have a set of parentheses. So because this fraction is being multiplied by both, I can get rid of that by multiplying the whole side of this left side of the equation by the reciprocal and the whole right side of your equation. Another method would be to distribute that fraction. I will show you two examples with each method. The first method, what I'm going to do is multiply by the reciprocal first. So I'm going to do that method first. So here's method one, and we will multiply by the reciprocal. In this fraction, my reciprocal would be my fraction upside down, and it will have the same sign. So the reciprocal of this fraction would be negative, because it's negative, 3/2. And I'm going to multiply that by this side of my equation. And I am also going to multiply this side of my equation by that same reciprocal. Now what's going to happen is your fractions are going to completely cancel each other out. And the negative times the negative will also cancel out. So I will have 2x minus 6 left over on this side. On this side, I need to do a little bit of simplification. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24, and negative 24 divided by 2 is negative 12. Now to solve the problem, it's quite a bit more simple. I'm going to get rid of this constant so I can isolate my variable term. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Now I will have 2x is equal to negative 6. And if I divide both sides by 2, I'm going to get an answer of negative 3. I'm going to also show the same type of method with a new problem. So again, multiplying by the reciprocal for this example would look like this. The reciprocal of this fraction would be 5/2. Here's my equation, 2/5 times the parenthesis group, 2x minus 9, and that is equal to 12. I also need to multiply the other side of my equation by 5/2. The left side, my 5/2 times 2/5 of my equation will cancel out, and I will be left with 2x minus 9. On the right side, I need to multiply 12 times 5. 12 times 5 is 60, and 60 divided by 2 is the number 30. Now to solve for x, I need to get the x term alone, so I need to get rid of this negative 9 by adding 9 to both sides. Now I will have 2x is equal to 39, and if I divide both sides by 2, my answer will be 39 halves Or if you want to get the decimal for that, that would be okay. It would be 19.5. Either answer is fine. Now the second method, how would we distribute? So I'm going to show that method next. In this method, we are going to distribute the fraction to both terms. So I'm going to start with taking -2 times 2x, or -4x, divided by 3. When you multiply a whole number times a fraction, you multiply the tops together. Well, this whole number times the top. So really this is kind of like 2 over 1. And then you just record the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is multiply this fraction times the number -6. Well, negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 6 is the number 12. We are going to divide by 3. This is equal to the number 8. Well, 12 divided by 3, if you use your calculator, is really just the number 4. So this is the same as -4/3. X plus 4 is equal to 8. So to solve my x term, what I need to do is subtract 4 on both sides. Now I have -4/3. X is equal to the number 4. To solve for x, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is -3/4. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And now, on the left side, I will have x isolated. And on this side, 4 divided by 4 will cancel out. And I'll have the number -3. You can think of this 4 as 4 over 1. And if you multiply fractions, the top times the top would be -12. And -12 divided by 1 times 4, or 4, would give you -3. Method 2, the same type of method but with a new problem. So what I'm going to do is distribute. I'm going to start by distributing the fraction 2/5 to the 2x. 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. The denominator was 5. My variable x is going to stay. 2 times -9 is -18. Divided by 5 is equal to 12. Now what I'm going to do is actually pull out my calculator and show you how to type this in. Okay. I need to add 18/5 to isolate my x term. And I need to add that on both sides. So I'm going to take 18/5. So here's 18 divided by 5. I'm going to get my fraction, that's 3.6. I'm actually just going to write that down, plus 3.6. And I'm going to add that to both sides. Now I'm going to have 4/5 x is equal to 12 plus 3.6. And I get 15.6. Now what I'm going to do is multiply by the reciprocal, 5/4. So I'm going to take my 15/6. I'm going to multiply by 5, so times 5. And now I'm going to divide by 4. And my solution is 19.5. I want you to notice that no matter which method you pick, you get the same solution.